I remember one of my best friends telling me this story. She was talking about joining a sport she had never done before, and here was her philosophy. Now, her and I grew up together. We've known each other our whole entire lives, and we've always played sports. So we're both athletic kind of girls. And as we got older, it could be hard to play the sports that you grew up with because sometimes your body just says, nah, not happening. And so her philosophy was if you want to play sports as you get older, you want to start a new sport, play something you've never played before because you're going to suck at it when you first start. But inevitably, if you stick with it, you will get better at it because it's something new that you're learning. And on the other hand, if you do a sport that you've played your whole entire life and you used to be really good at, you're never going to be as good as you were in your prime. And that's, I guess, that meaning like you're going to be a has-been. So you'll never be as good as you were when you were 20 years old, which makes sense. And you're always going to compare yourself playing that sport today as playing when you were in your prime, like so good. And so it stands to reason that she was right. If we want to play sports as we get older, we want to take up a new sport and try something completely new that we've never done so that we can see improvement. And then we're going to feel really good about ourselves because we're better than we were. And that's what makes it fun to try a new sport. And in this spirit, as I was getting older and my body was unable to do the things that I loved doing before, I took up a new sport. And if you've been following, you know this sport is tennis. And now I am obsessed with tennis. But I remember when I first started, I joined the tennis club. Now, what I didn't know was that usually people are at a certain level, like 2.5 minimum. I didn't even know there was levels in tennis. But I was just new. I had never taken a lesson. I didn't really know the rules. And I do remember that the Poco Tennis Club, they are such nice people. So they were very welcoming, even though I was not very good. But I was eager and athletic and excited to learn and willing to take tips from everybody and all the things. And when I first started, I remember having this thought that I can't serve. I can't serve the ball over the net. And so I would serve it underhand. And for many years, I was like, I just can't serve overhand. Okay, maybe not many years, but I just went in with the thought that it was too hard for me to serve overhand. And I always served underhand. And then one day I thought, like, everybody's serving overhand. Why can't I serve overhand? So I had this limiting belief to start with, was that it was really hard to serve overhand, and I certainly couldn't do it. And when I stopped and looked back at the big picture, I'm like, everybody else is serving overhead. It can't be that hard if everybody's doing it. I'm going to give it a try. And lo and behold, when I served it overhand, it wasn't a hard serve. It wasn't like a rocket by any means, but I could get it into the box when I served it overhand nice and easy, much to my surprise. And the only thing that kept me from serving it overhand was a thought I had. It was a belief I had, and it wasn't even true. I just put that in my head because maybe one time I couldn't serve it and get it over the net. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to fail. I'll just hit it like this so I succeed every single time. So because I didn't want to fail, I didn't even try. And then I just served it underhand. So needless to say, I learned how to serve overhand. And then my thought was, oh, just get it into the box. When you serve it overhand, just get it into the box. And then the longer I played, I thought, damn, like some people have really good serves, and it can be really a huge advantage to have a good serve. And so last year, I went out and every sunny day, I practiced my serve. I took my bucket of balls, my basket of balls, and I think there was 50 balls in there, and I would serve from each service point, from the ad side and then from the other side, and then on the other side of the court. So I would serve in each quarter 50 balls, and then I would go home. And that would take me maybe a total of 20 minutes. And my serve got better. And then I started to love serving because I could see it from the strategic point of view that this is like a free hit for me. And I got super excited. So instead of not wanting to serve or not caring about serving, I'm like, oh my God, I get to serve. This is so exciting. And then where do I want to hit it? And what kind of serve do I want to do? And where's the other person standing? And it just became like a game of chess in my brain. And I was like, this is so exciting. And now I love serving. I love serving. And I've created 2 different serves, and they're very unorthodox. And I don't care because I don't think that there's a one size fits all. And a lot of the people don't like one of my serves because it's really hard to return, but it's not a hard, fast serve. And it always makes me laugh when people complain about my serve because there's no rule that says what a serve has to look like. If a serve is hard to hit and you get a point off of it, that's the whole point of it. So I love, love, love my serve now. And it was because I practiced every day that I went from pretty much just throwing my serve away, like not thinking of it as a point, to being like, oh, I get a free hit. This is so exciting, to loving my serve and putting more thought into the technical aspect of it and where I want to hit it and who I'm playing against and, like how the other players are playing, who we're playing against. So it is so much fun. And it's the same in Spanish. For me, Spanish is hard. So I have this thought in my brain that, hey, I'm getting older and it's harder for me to learn new things. I have this thought. And when I'm trying to learn Spanish, my thought is like, I can't remember this. It just goes in one side and out the other, in one ear and out the other. And I feel like that's a fixed mindset, meaning I should hear it once. Like when I have a thought like that, I notice it. And basically what it's saying is you should hear it once and just remember it forever. And that's really not very practical, is it? Not very valid. And it's not serving me. Instead, a thought of the more I say it, the more I hear it, the easier it is for me to remember. And I've noticed, like, there's a point when you're learning a new language where it's really hard and you feel like you don't know anything. And then all of a sudden, there's a turning point where you're like, damn, I can understand all of these words. I can understand this conversation. And when it comes to reading and writing, it gets easier and easier. The challenge is when you're talking to other people. First of all, because they speak really quickly. It's just one huge word. And then also when you're speaking, you're searching for those words. But I know a ton of words because I've been practicing every single day. And it will just come to the point when I can say them in a smooth sentence without having to stop and think about a word where I'm like, there I go. I can speak in Spanish and I'm super close. So I know that if I stop, I will never be fluent. That was like when I saw that video on Facebook, a memory 7 years ago about me learning Spanish and how excited I was and all the things I was doing. And then 7 years later, I had stopped doing those things and I was not fluent. So I know one thing for sure, and that is if I stop practicing, I will never be fluent. But if I'm willing to suck at it and be bad at it every single day, I will get better. It's a universal truth that whatever you do, if you keep doing it every single day, you can only get better and you will get better. So if my thoughts create my results and I have a thought of this is hard and I don't know what I'm doing, how am I going to feel? I'm going to feel defeated and I'm not going to want to carry on. But if I have a thought that I'm learning every day, if I just repeat it, then it's going to stick in my brain. Every day I practice, I get better and better. I'm just one word away from being fluent. Like those are thoughts that really, really excite me and light me up. And so if I'm willing to suck at it, that means that I go to Spanish class and I talk out loud, not from a written piece of paper that I've wrote out before class, but from my brain. And I'm willing to be like speaking in broken Spanish so that I just keep speaking and trying different things so that I feel comfortable just trying these words and throwing them together and learning as I go. Because I know when I'm having a conversation with somebody who is Spanish that they appreciate the fact that I'm making the effort and they can decipher what I'm saying. Because I have had international students forever, and I never once had a thought that I couldn't understand them or I didn't want to try or didn't want to listen. I would just slow down my speaking and I would be happy to help them with their English. I was actually impressed that they're in a foreign country, these teenagers, they're in a foreign country going to a high school where they don't know anybody and that English is their second language. So they're learning the subjects and trying to make friends in a foreign language. That inspires me too. I'm like, if these teenagers can do it, then I can do it too. So I'm taking some inspiration from a lot of my international students that I've had over the years. How do we go about getting this? How do we apply this philosophy to something that we want in our life? So if there's a goal that you're trying to achieve or a person you're trying to become, the self-actualized version of you, then there's 3 things that you can do, 3 little things. There's lots of things, but here are my top 3 tips for making this happen when you're trying to become somebody new, learn a new skill, reach a goal, whatever it is. You want to find the one little thing that will get you closer to what you want, closer to reaching that goal. Just the one little thing. What's the next little step I can take? And then write that down. And then, related to this one little thing, what can you do on your worst day when it comes to this, right? That one little thing. So here's my goal. And I know if I just do this one thing, I'll reach that goal. What's the smallest thing so it doesn't feel overwhelming? And now you want to be like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm sick or it's rainy, it's been raining for 40 days, what could I do on that day? The minimal amount. And then that's going to be your go-to every single day, no matter what. And then on the days when you're having a good day, guess what? You can do more. It's not a problem. But every day you're committed to doing this even on your worst day, this is what you could do. So that's the one little step that will get you closer to what you want to achieve. Because remember, if you have a goal, it's not one big grand thing that gets you there. It's being consistent every single day. When we talk about the people that are super successful or the professional athletes, they show up every single day. They put the work in every single day. What makes the difference between the average person and the wildly successful person is even on the days when they don't want to, they show up and do it anyway. And that's the practicing part. That's getting better at your tennis serve. That's becoming fluent in Spanish. I'm willing to stand up in class and not make any sense because I know that one day I will make sense. And it's just, we're all there to learn Spanish. That's a Spanish class. That's where you should go speak Spanish and make mistakes because it's the teacher's job to teach you. So anything that stops you from doing that is just a thought in your head. It's your brain trying to keep you safe because your brain is like, that's scary, you could die. We know that we're not going to die from standing up and sounding funny in front of the rest of the group because they're all feeling the same way. So it's our brain trying to keep us safe. That's what it is. And then the last thing, the tip number 3 is know that failing is learning and growing and moving forward. So you can never fail. A lot of the times we don't do something because we're afraid we're going to fail. And that's also the fixed mindset. But know that the only way you can get good at something is by failing. So failing forward is what I like to call it. You want to be like, what did I learn from that? What can I take from that? Well, I won't do that again next time because it didn't work. What will I do? So you're learning and growing. So instead of thinking of it as a failure, I want to invite you to think of it as feedback. And then you can be like, use it to take your next step forward. So those are the 3 steps. What's the one little thing that will get you closer to reaching that big goal if I do it every single day? And what can you do on your worst day in regards to that? So on the days when you don't want to show up, and then on the days when you're feeling good, you can go above and beyond. And then know that when you fail, it means you're learning and growing. So there's no such thing as failing if you just keep going. And the only way you actually fail is if you give up. That's the only way you could fail, is if you give up on yourself and your dreams. That's the only way you could fail. And the only reason we don't do this, like do these 3 little steps and try new things and chase our dreams, is because of fear. Fear of failure. But if you only fail by giving up on yourself, then just have this thought, I'm never giving up on myself. I'm just going to go until I succeed. And then you can't fail. So you can put that one to the side. That's not even an issue for you. It's so good. And this came to me. I had this thought when I was quantum jumping today. Quantum jumping, I know, it's a thing, and it's freaking amazing. And I'll be teaching it in my new group that I'm starting. By the way, keep your ears peeled. I have this exciting new opportunity, this new program that I'm launching, and it's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be coming out end of July. So listen, stay tuned, hang out with me, and I will announce when I'm doing the big launch. But this morning, every day before I do my podcast, I do a meditation or I do quantum jumping. And so when I was quantum jumping today before recording this came to me. Quite often we're like thinking that there needs, like we're aiming towards, there's this goal or there's an end, something we have to achieve, but there is no end game. Life keeps going on, and then after life, your spirit lives on. Like everything just keeps existing, because energy, we're just energy. Energy never dies, it doesn't disappear, it just transforms. So there is no end game. You won't be like, hey, I completed this, look, I won. No, there's no final destination. So I want to invite you to just be curious and playful and explore all possibilities. Like in this moment when I had this epiphany, it was like, I'm always thinking that I need to be doing something to reach something. But what if the whole purpose of this existence is to just explore and be curious and playful and see what happens and enjoy the ride along the way? Come on. This is magic stuff that I'm saying right here. Like, this is mind-blowing. You're going to show up to your life with a totally different energy if you have this thought. Take the pressure off of yourself and just be curious. Like, what if? What if? So I invite you to greet every single day and live every single day with playful curiosity and just watch everything change. Believe me when I say anything and everything is possible. Now go make it happen. Thank you for listening. Always, always, always love yourself first and have an amazing day.